Well, hello there, and good day. Thank you for joining me. I'm FrostPDP, and today we're going to talk about Dragon Ball Super and why the Tournament to Power isn't just about power. So, because it's a Royal Rumble style tournament where all 10 fighters may wind up collaborating at the same time, I think of this tournament structure similar to a 10-man dungeon in World of Warcraft as opposed to a series of 10 one-on-one fights. I think it's worth analyzing each character's potential roles and skills, starting with some of the least likely heroes of this series. This might be a long video, also known as a diatribe, but it'll cover a lot of topics you might be interested in, and I can always talk about any of them. It's also fair with that we can't be sure to what extent there will be terrain such as vegetation, mountains, and lakes in the tournament, including, but not limited to, major formations that could be defended or exploited. We're going to go in reverse order because I think we all sort of get what roles Goku and Vegeta might have, and they're easy. I'll be using the Dragon Ball Wikia, which cites sources such as Diatribe to help validate the claims we explore, but I'll be using other sources as well. I want to start by going over just the rules of the tournament, as complemented to Dragon Ball Wikia, and it says rules: fighters cannot be killed or use weapons, so no swords, I'm assuming no senzu beans. To win, one must make their opponent fall off of the fighting stage even if they were to collapse on the stage. So just knocking someone out doesn't do it. You've got to actually restrain and drag them over to the other place to drop them off. It's a single match with all 80 fighters at the same time, and it lasts for 48 minutes. Fighters are not allowed to fly outside of the ring, or else their flight technique is negated there. I'm not sure if they're just not allowed to fly either, but I guess if you get knocked outside of the round, like outside of the ring, flight stops. That seems like a fair thing. If you go past this barrier, flight stops. If there's a sole survivor, that fighter's universe is the winner. Also, though, more importantly, the universe with the most survivors when time runs out will be the victor. So, in other words, you're not forced to eliminate all of your enemies. You're just forced to keep your team alive. So, that's kind of important too, right? That really matters, because we want to keep our guys in. So that means there's going to be episodes where, like, one person's maybe kidnapped. Although it's a 48-minute fight, so you don't have the time for that much strategy unless you can plan ahead, unless you know what you're getting yourself into. That is why, presumably, it's all of our characters that we are familiar with. It's all characters from Universe 7 that Goku and Vegeta can work with. Goku knows these guys' skills, at least enough to succeed. That's why they don't go out and look for, like, the real Monica. They don't have room for that shit. They don't have time. That's why Roshi's there, because he understands how these guys work. And Roshi is the guy we're going to get into first, because he's not Yamcha, he's not Chaozu, and he's not even Yajirobe. He's Roshi. What the hell good is Roshi? Well, for starters, he recently helped fight the Frieza army. During this fight, he was the one giving orders, and he volunteered to take an equal share. Frieza soldiers aren't all that powerful, but they all can fly, which is more than we usually, and we'll get to that, see old man Roshi do. Who does, in fact, ride in on Krillin's back into this battle. But in Dragon Ball Volume F, Akira Toriyama claims that Roshi was able to fight on this level because he is only that strong if he feels like being that strong, suggesting Roshi might have untapped power. He might be stronger than we think. He also just ate some super duper herb, which he probably enjoyed a lot, which might have improved his combat power. You know, that thing that Goku and Krillin went into the cave to get. How is that going to help Roshi? I thought it might be the thing that makes him immortal, but actually, according to Wikia, he also supposedly owns a phoenix that grants him immortality. So he's kind of like Dumbledore before Dumbledore was a thing, and he's a perv, which Dumbledore is not. Also, Roshi is an expert at non-confrontational techniques, such as, but not limited to, the Mafuba. He's the one who taught Goku it. His master is the one who created it. He was able to read some guy named Nam's mind in the 21st tournament. Oh, and apparently in the 21st tournament he blew up the freaking moon to make Goku revert from his grade 8 form. It's clear he's a lot stronger than we think, and between telepathy to coordinate his allies, mind reading to outpace his enemies, and access to other magic, it's possible Roshi will be more effective than, say, his baseball-centric pupil. We're moving on to Krillin, though. And why is Krillin being listed? If we're going in reverse order, why is he before Tien? Well, Krillin is human, while Tien might not be. And Tien might be more versatile in a Royal Rumble fight, even if Krillin has a higher power level or greater spiritual strength than Tien. He's at least somewhat power scaled for our understanding of how strong he is, because he's unwilling to train with Goku when Goku goes Super Saiyan. So he's willing to hold his own against Goku in normal form, but even then he's not going to win. He's sure not going to beat a Super Saiyan. And Tien doesn't have that limit, but he might be able to beat Tien one-on-one, I don't know. Krillin is, however, daring and brave. Right? He's always willing to go and fight the enemy. You know, he does this with Cell, he does this with Boo. We've seen him do it a bunch of times. That's why we like him. He also has the Kenzan, which is a really deadly threat. Because if you're not allowed to have weapons, but we've already established this is something he can do on his own, then he can use Kenzan. And if he can do Kenzan in a little bit more adaptable of a way, say like using smaller discs as punch knuckles, like punch blades, that's an option. He can also probably just make an energy sword like Vegito. That's a thing. He's also a good guy, right? If there's ever a chance for an alliance with another universe, or like a way to try to set up a way out of this whole trap of all the universes with this one die, he's the guy to send. He's friendly, he's caring, he's got a family, he's honest. He'll get you the alliance. But now we're gonna look towards our buddy Tien Shinhan, and I've already talked a lot about him in my Talking Tien episode, so this will be quick. He was trained specifically as sort of an assassin by the Crane Hermit. Other people have made his powers very popular, like Solar Flare and Triform, but Tien is one of the originators with these powers. He also has 4 witches, which gains him bonus arms and apparently doubles his power. He's really good at mimicry, because he can also do the Mafuba just from seeing it done. And the Kikoho Tri-Beam, wow. I mean, it's an assassination technique, it's long range, it's crippling, and he can charge it up kind of like the Special Beam Cannon / Makako Sappa we'll get to much later. Because the longer he has to aim with it, the better it is. When left unchecked, he's able to humiliatingly stall Semi-Perfect Cell, who is stronger than an android by far. And he's also at least receptive of telepathy. And it's been argued that Tien isn't quite human. Maybe he's an human-alien hybrid. But as we discussed in the Tien episode, Toriyama said in the Daizenshuu that people with third eyes are said to have godlike powers. So he might be more than we think he is. We just might not know it yet. So next up, as you might imagine, are the 2 androids, Android 17 and 18, or as they are named. From what I understand, these are authentic names. It's not just Team 4-Star stuff. Lapis and Lazuli. Lapis is Android 17. He's really hard to judge, just like his sister, because we don't really know what their powers are since they stopped being full androids. Do they still have these generators that give them unlimited power that's undetectable, or are they using ki power now, but just as stronger? So being undetectable might be a really big asset, and being able to just generate energy endlessly means that they can keep taking hits and soak damage like a tank in World of Warcraft. I mean, Roshi might be able to heal. He's got magic. He's a healer. We have tanks and healers right here. Also, it's worth noting, Lapis is a park ranger now, which is awesome. And so he might be good at tracking people. He might be good at navigating the environment and survival skills, which is a 48-minute fight. Not 48 hours. I want to check that real fast. I want to be very, very, very sure. Yeah, it's 48 minutes. So survival skills, well, you know, it's something to have, right? So then there's a Lazuli, who, again, it's hard to judge her actual combat power, right? In fact, I use the androids more as a reference point, because there's 2 of them. But she's done more to stay in practice. I mean, in the World Martial Arts Tournament during the Buu Saga, she held her own against Trunks and Goten in Super Saiyan form. After the Buu Saga, she kind of fought against Beerus, and I mean, she didn't do well, but she fought. And she outright tells Krillin she's stronger than him. So, yeah, that's good to know, right? She's kind of brave and fearless, which is awesome. And then there's Son Gohan. I know, I'm putting Gohan before Piccolo, but here's why. First of all, Goku's looking at him as a tactician, you know, like, hey, we need to think about this. That's why we've got Gohan. He can at least maintain Super Saiyan 1 at this point, it seems, even considering that his limits from his ultimate form pushed away his Super Saiyan during the Buu Saga. I don't really know how that works. I don't think anyone does. But he's also been training with Piccolo, so maybe he learned some cool techniques from Piccolo. Who knows? But even Vegeta at some point says that Gohan may still have incredible power to be unlocked and drawn out. We just don't know what form that takes at this point. We don't know, like, is Gohan really ready to do this, or is he just kind of gonna stay in his daddy's shadows? I mean, he fought that werewolf guy kind of well, but I'm not impressed by that. I didn't even bother to learn that guy's name. He was just a random werewolf that they fought. Like, good for them, right? But then there's Piccolo. Now, we can't be sure how strong Piccolo is. If you want to talk power scaling, it's a whole separate episode, but dude, he seems way too weak when scaled against Frieza's henchmen. I just get the feeling that he hadn't decided to take them seriously and fight. Once upon a time, he could fight toe-to-toe with Lapis, Android 17, and Cell in at least his natural form, which means he's at least as strong as a Super Saiyan, at least as strong as a Super Saiyan used to be. He also fights on rather even terms against a so-called tired Frost. Not me. Frost, the Frieza race guy. And he in fact, this is an interesting point, because Frost held his own against Goku until Goku turned Super Saiyan. Whereas Gohan couldn't hold up against Frieza in Super Saiyan, right? When Frieza could hold up against Goku. So, let's think timelines for a minute here, because this matters just a bit. Goku and Frieza are evenly matched in, Goku's base form. Frost and Goku are evenly matched after Goku fought Frieza and nearly died, getting a Zenkai boost, presumably, right? So, that means Frost was even stronger than Frieza, and Piccolo took on a tired Frost. That's the implication there. At least at their base forms, right? Like, that's sort of what we're getting at. So we're not really sure how strong Piccolo is. We're not sure who's going to show up. And we're not sure mainly because he's going to fit whatever role the story needs him to fit. This is going to be a larger story arc than most of these episodes that are like, they talk for a bit, they fight for a bit. There's going to be episodes where they just talk and prep for fights. And there's going to be episodes that are whole, like, 2-3 episode fights probably. I hope so. I mean, I hope it's a lot like some of that stuff from Bleach. So Frieza's the abilities guy, right? He's one of the two main, like, tricksters. What we do know about him, he's got a lot of magic and trickery at his fingertips, including the ability to replace his fingertips if they get chopped off by a guy with a sword. He heals himself. He can hear over a long distance, so he can detect enemies from far away and hear their planning. He can change his body size and clone himself. He's got telepathy. He can create objects from nothing. He can use the Mafuba himself, since he merged with Kami, and he can at least restart a heart with a burst of energy. So if Kami was any kind of healer, now Piccolo's a healer. Most of all, maybe, Piccolo was once the god of Earth. Is there room in the story for each species to have a god? I mean, he could become the Namek god. Majin Buu. So Buu fought what I consider to be a pathetically weak enemy in the exhibition games. I mean, all the guy did was just, I can kick you. Okay. And Buu goes, sure, go right ahead, do that for like an episode, and then I'm just going to like off you in 2 seconds, right? So that's not a fair scale. But we do know that Buu got humiliated by Beerus, except for the fact that Buu lets you beat him up. Buu usually gets thrown on at the start of a fight. That happened in the exhibition games. So Buu might have actually gotten stronger throughout his fight with Beerus had that one-on-one gone on. We don't know why. We don't know. We just can't be sure. Buu can most definitely heal. He can take insane amounts of punishment. He can transform things using magic. He can, do a lot of things. There's a reason why everyone from King Cold to the Kaioshin feared him. His only credible threat when he first debuted was Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because at that point he'd steamrolled Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But then again, Future Trunks was, at least up until the end of the Goku Black arc, only a Super Saiyan 2 fighting against Goku Black for so long, so it's hard to be sure. We know... Oh man. I miss Transition, but Son Goku... He does that to me these days. You see, Goku is probably the strongest character heads up. We also know Hit's probably going to want to start things off by taking Goku out, although he might save Goku for himself. And we also know that he's universally reviled by the other universes, hint, because he's the one who started this in their eyes. Whether or not Zeno was going to do this anyway, he's the one who nudged this on. And that means other universes might decide to target Goku. And that could be good or bad, depending on how strong they are and how much Universe 7 can make out of this. If they can set traps, that's great. But on that end, in case you didn't know, I'm with House Vegeta on this one. See, I think Vegeta's more interesting as a character. Although he's been motivated by anger his entire life, and a lot of it was anger at this Kakarot bastard, he also gets angry with respect to those he is sworn to protect. He'd love the threat of the tournament anyway, but he turned down the Zeno games to watch his daughter's birth. Vegeta plus the thought of anyone threatening his daughter's life will most assuredly equal rage, both at the enemy and at Goku's dumbass for creating this position. In terms of grand space battles, Vegeta's time as a Frieza Force commander probably makes him the best strategist at this kind of thing. Even if he's dropped the ball, like letting Cell become Perfect Cell. So him and Roshi will be coordinating things, and Vegeta is receptive to telepathy, if not capable of doing it himself. And you know what? He's almost as strong as Goku to begin with. If anyone's amazed at Goku turning Super Saiyan Blue, they're going to be amazed at Vegeta turning Super Saiyan Blue. And Toei has really been unclear in who's actually stronger in base form, even though we know Goku's got Kaioken times whatever the hell it wants to be. So that's important to note, that they've kind of almost got two Gokus. Finally, and this is important here, the Saiyans in Universe 6 are going to be led by Cabba, and I'm assuming there's going to be at least one other Saiyan in Universe 6 showing up, because they can have 10 people this time. They're going to look to Vegeta for leadership, especially if this guy can come up with a promise to save their lives. And if there's Saiyans in other universes, well, Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans. Might as well become the king of all Saiyans. So that's my diatribe for today. I know it's a lot. These are just my thoughts. They're backed up by what I've been reading. You can do the research yourself. I encourage you to look at Daizenshu. I encourage you to look at Dragon Ball Wikia. Look around. See what other Dragon Ball YouTubers are thinking. I mean, there's lots of theories. There's some just made up stuff like, this is definitely going to happen. We don't know. But then there's some theories, and I'd like to think I'm on the theories edge of this, but let me know what you think. Leave a comment, please. Let's have a counter diatribe, a counter tribe. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Show me that you like this video, and I'll make many more of them. And as always on this channel, La Paz.